niya. Alam mo, radio station, no? This is the Successful Life series of Papa Angelo, your God and Man's Laws Life Counselor. Tungkol saan ang programa mo na yan, Papa Angelo? Ha? Basta maintindihan nyo na lang as we go on. Nawala yung script ko. Okay. Our country is still under plague, under torment. Okay? May pandemic pa rin. Oh, by the way, ang topic natin today is true stories of broken marriages and what God and man's laws have to say about it. For me, as God's believer, it's a form of nature's punishment, no? Yung ating pandemic. When we say nature, it only means there is someone powerful than human beings who can give a plague, disaster or sufferings to man that no man can ever control or foresee before it happens. So my advocacy is to go back to the basics. Gusto ko makatulong sa aking kapwa at gobyerno ng bansang ito in my own little way, to bring truth, because the truth shall set us free. To educate my fellow countrymen na hindi willing kumilala sa Diyos. Okay? Na walang time kumilala sa Diyos at mga aral nito sa Biblia. Biblia na punong-puno ng tamang guide para sa tamang takbo o biyahe ng ating buhay. Dahil malaki ang aking paniniwala na sa pamamagitan ng paggamit ng tamang basic guide sa buhay natin, malalampasan ng bawat pamilya ang bawat pandemic sa buhay nila. At makakatulong ang mga guide nito to improve the lives of many Filipinos. Actually, I want to reach out to as many Filipinos or families as I can. I want to reach out to all of them. Kung si Pangulong Duterte nangangarap ng magandang buhay para sa mga Pilipino, ganoon din dapat tayo. Bawat isa. Tayong lahat. Bawat pamilya. Bawat tahanan. Mangarap din tayo ng magandang buhay para sa ating pamilya. I advocate the building of stronger marriage foundations and happier families in this country, na matagal nang naliligaw ng landas, kaya napag-iiwanan kung pag-aasenso o pag-asenso ng buong bansa compared sa ibang bansa ang ating pag-uusapan, napag-iiwanan. Because if there are strong families, buong pamilya, disiplinado at magagalang na mga anak, a nation is strong or even stronger. A very prosperous and happy place to live with. So this is to tell my fellow countrymen that though there are solutions to every problem, kahit na merong solusyon sa bawat problema, iwasan na natin yung problema. Okay? Huwag tayo masyadong mayabang. Okay. Okay, yung kayabangan na yan, lalabas maya-maya, ha? Na-advance lang ako. Okay? Mas nararapat na iwasan ang mga problemang ito tungo sa ikasasagana ng bawat pamilya at ng ating bayan sa kabuuan. Gusto kong burahin ang kulturang namayani sa ating bansa ng maraming taon. Ang kulturang corrective actions. Na kaya ng Pilipino yan, kaya ng Pinoy yan, malalampasan ng Pilipino yan. Yan ang attitude natin, yan ang naging culture natin, ano? For many years. Attitude ng kayabangan, attitude ng pamacho. Magaling ako, I know it all. Okay? Alam nyo ba, ang attitude na ito ang lubos na nagpapahirap sa ating bansa hanggang ngayon. At dahil dyan, kaya natin pinalayas ang mga bansang sumakop sa atin noon. Wala naman tayong choice kundi balikan ang nakaraan. So itong presentation ko today ay may historical facts. May historical background. Okay? Para mas maintindihan natin ang mga nangyayari ngayon sa ating buhay. Minsan kung isipin din natin, how about kung nagpakumbaba lang muna ang ating mga ninuno noon sa mga dayuhan. Sigurado namang iiwanan nila tayo balang araw na maunlad at kaya nang tumayo sa sarili nating paa. Wala eh. Meron talaga tayong magaling attitude from the start. Hindi ko lang kung saan nagmula yun, pero pag-usapan natin. Ugali kasi natin mga Pinoy na magpasikat pag naka-solve ng isang problema. Kaya ito ang bansa natin ngayon. Nagkukumahog gumawa ng skyways. Nagkukumahog magtayo ng mga nagtataasang buildings na dapat noon pa nakatayo. Railway system, nagkukumahog, mag-improve ng train system na dapat noon pa tayo meron. Tingnan mo ibang progressive na neighboring countries. Dumaan ba sila sa pananakop? Hindi naman lahat eh. But yes, I believe so. Pero nakisama sila sa nananakop. Pinaunlad ng mga mananakop ang bansa nila. At iniwan sila nung panahong kaya na nilang tumayo sa sarili nilang mga paa. Eh tayo, alam niyo na ibig ko sabihin, for sure naman, kahit hindi niyo sabihin sa akin, pag umikot kayo ng iba't ibang bansa, yung mga mahilig mag-travel dyan, yung mahilig magtapo ng pera sa pamamasyal sa iba't ibang bansa, nakikita niyo siguro ang malaking kaibahan ng mga bansang pinupuntahan niyo sa Pilipinas compared sa Pilipinas. Sigurado sinasabi niyo sa sarili niyo, sana ganito din sa bansa namin. O sana ganito rin ang Pilipinas. O sana sa kaitaasan. O di ba sabi ng kanta yan? O sana sa kaitaasan. Dahil sa kaitaasan lamang nanggagaling ang pagpapala ng isang bansa. Natulingan tayong Christian country, punong-puno ng makadiyos na tao, pero bakit lagi tayo nahuhuli? Malakita ko na kung bakit. Makinig lang kayo, okay? Pinag-isipan ko, pinagdasalan ko, at ni-research ko. And I'm sure everybody will agree with me. Kung hindi kayo nag-agree sa akin, edi send me a message. Justify your findings. Dapat may research din, back up by data, and back up by historical facts, etc. etc. Because ito rin yung ginagawa ko ngayon. Hindi ako mag-share o magsasabi ng mga bagay na hindi ko naman ni-research o naintindihan. Okay? At kung meron mang mali, edi correct natin. Okay? The famous biblical verse. Kung alam nyo yan, baka alam nyo lahat to. Kahit saan to nakikita sa mga, kahit saan ka umakyat eh. Ng mga building eh, o mga pader na makikita mo. Ito, seek ye first the kingdom of God and His principles, and all these things shall be added unto you. That's a famous biblical line. In other words, ilagay muna natin ang kaharian ng Diyos sa lupa para sa lahat. Para lahat ng nais natin sa buhay ay maidagdag niya. Okay? May ibang kahulugan pa ba yan? May pinost nga ako tungkol dyan. Kinontra. Tapos ang kumontra, nag-aral daw ng theology, etc. etc. Wrong perspective daw. Kaya pa naging worst perspective ang nakasulat sa Biblia. Well, may separate answer ako dyan. So, nasa YouTube lang. Panoorin nyo lang. Tungkol sa isang controversial topic. Kapag kinasal ka ba ng huwes, yan ba ay basbas ng Diyos o basbas ng gobyerno? Panoorin nyo. Pakinggan nyo mabuti. At bago kayo mag-react, pag-isipan nyo muna isasagot nyo, ha? Dahil babanatan ko kayo na pinagdasal mo ba yung sagot mo? At ni-research mo ba? Nagtanong ka ba ng opinion ng ibang matatalinong tao? Okay? Huwag yung tira ng tira, huwag yung banat ng banat. Yan ang isang ugaling Pilipino na napakapangit, napakabasura. Bigla na lang nagre-react without thinking, without balancing things. Okay? Ako nga, ingat na akong kumontra ng hindi pinag-iisipan eh. Why? Because hanggat nagmamatured ka, meron ka na capacity mag-isip, magbalanse ng mga bagay. So dapat ganun din tayo habang nagkakaedad, binabalanse na natin para mas naiintindihan natin ang nangyayari sa buhay natin. Okay? Eh kapag nakipagtalo ka, iisang Bible lang, pinaglalaban mo yung dalawang verses, debate yan. Yan ang gustong-gusto ng mga tao. Okay? Imagine mo, isang libro lang pinagtatalunan natin. Kaya dumami ang religion. Mga religion na family-owned church. Na sila lahat nagde-decide sa kabuuan ng simbahan at hindi mga members. So, never na magiging pag-aari ng tao ang isang church kung kontrolado ito ng isang pamilya na pinamamana lang sa mga anak. Kaya ano ang guide na binigay ng Diyos sa atin kung paano kilalanin ang mga tunay na lingkod ng Diyos? By their fruits, you shall know them. Napakasimple. Siyempre, kung ano yung maging bunga ng kanilang simbahan, doon mo masasabi. So, balik na ako sa topic ko. Ang pagiging mayabang ng Pilipino or know-it-all attitude ng mga Pilipino, majority, ang naging sistema dito sa atin. Okay? Isang sistema na kumain sa atin, pati ang mga sumunod na generation up to now. Alam niyo kung bakit nilamon tayo ng sistemang ito? Dahil mas napapansin ka kasi ng tao, mas sumisikat ka, mas hahangaan ka ng tao dahil sa galing na pagkakasolve mo ng isang problema. Mas nag-glorify ka, di ba? Oh, pogi ko, ang haba ng hair ko, ang ganda ko. Isang problema na pwede namang iwasan na hindi mangyari. Kasi pag namayani ang kulturang preventive actions, walang sumisikat, walang nakikilalang hero, walang nakikilalang problem solver. But that's how the world looks at it. That's how the world looks at it. Then ang masakit dyan, nadadala ng tao yung kultura or system na yan sa loob ng pamilya niya. Kapag sa pamilya na nanggagaling ang problema, madalas hindi tayo interesadong ayusin ang problema natin sa bahay o pamilya kasi wala namang mag-acknowledge ng galing natin sa na-solve nating problema sa loob ng pamilya. Okay? Wala namang mag-acknowledge eh. Kasi private life eh. Alangan namang ipagkalat mo sa FB para sumikat ka lang na, yehey! Na-solve ko problema ng pamilya ko! Yehey! Yung anak kong dating drug addict at magnanakaw, mabait na ngayon! Tinigil na niya ang pagda-drugs, yehey! Tapos yung asawa ko chismosa at nagger, hindi na siya chismosa at nagger ngayon. Yehey! Thanks God! Sino kaya ang gagawa niya? Wala pa ako nakita. Sinong tao na may normalang isip ang ipagmamalaking kanyang problem-solving skills kung pamilya niya ang involved? Kakaunti lang ang bilang ng mga Pilipinong mas preferred na umiwas na lang sa problema at iwasan itong mangyari sa kanyang pamilya o sa kanyang sarili mismo. Pero ang trending o kultura ng Pilipino, hahanap ng sagot sa labas ng bahay. Pag nagka-problema sa loob ng bahay, sa pamilya, sa asawa, hahanap ng sagot sa labas ng bahay. Na kung tutusin ay nasa loob din ng bahay, makikita ang sagot. Ayaw lang natin itong hanapin. Again, attitude. By the way, this presentation is brought to us by the Marriage and Family Laws Division of BCIDP Law Office. This law firm as a whole simply provides you the legal way when there seems to be no way. They provide expert legal support to your problems concerning marriages, family, visa, immigration, corporate, property, assets, and other serious issues or disputes about each of these rules or about these issues. This is in cooperation with BCIDP Exclusive School for Couples, which advocates building of stronger marriage foundation and happier families in the Philippines since 2013. Now, let's proceed to the nation's problem right now. Balikan natin. 2017. Ano ba ang problema ng bansa noong taong 2017? Nakikita natin yan dito. Sa isang article na sinulat sa Manila Times, itong ating media, pag sumulat ito, may back up by facts ito, back up by data, by facts. Okay? September 22, 2017. The Philippines Serious Problems. Okay, tingnan natin ha. Meron silang picture dito. Sa loob ng isang bahay, may drawing na pader, square. Nakalagay dito, drug problem, terrorist threats, crime, economic crisis, poverty, traffic problem, insurgency problem, territorial issues with China, corruption. So ito ang binanggit na biggest problem, Philippine Serious Problems, September 22, 2017 na article sa Manila Times. Okay? 2019, tingnan natin, baka naman nagbago, Papa Angelo, baka naman nag-improve. Baka naman nag-improve. Let's see. So, after 2 years after, tingnan natin. Duterte, Philippines, faced with modern problems. Okay? Modern problems na raw. Ito ay nakasulat sa newsinfo.inquirer.net. Dated June 12, 2019. Tingnan natin. Baka naman nag-improve after 2 years, ha? The country's heroes faced foreign colonizers centuries ago. But Filipinos now are facing modern problems such as poverty, corruption, environmental degradation, terrorism, criminality, and illegal drugs. Okay, so binasa ko kanina, 2017, ang nadagdag dito ngayon, environmental degradation. Okay, nadagdagan pa yung problema. Imbis na mabawasan. Yung poverty, corruption, nandun pa rin. Terrorism, nandun pa rin. Criminality, nandun pa rin. And illegal drugs, nandun pa rin. So, nadagdagan nung after 2 years. Environmental degradation, ibig sabihin, nasisira ang ating likas na yaman. Okay. So, Papa Angelo, baka naman 30 years ago, matino naman ang ating bansa. Ngayon lang lumala. Tingnan nga natin, kung 30 years, over 30 years ago, matino ang bansa natin, ngayon lang lumala. Okay. 1987, looking back. Kung ilang taon yan, kumpitin nyo na lang, baka maubos oras ko. 1987, ha? From the Atlantic, November 1987 issue, theatlantic.com. Okay, US-based news media yata ito. Sabi ni James Fallows, correspondent, sa kanyang article, A New Philippines? 1987 to, ha? Sabi niya, yung question mark kagad, A New Philippines? Okay, papasahin ko na mabilis. In the United States, the coming of the Aquino government seemed to make the Philippines into a success story. The evil Marcos was out. The saintly Cory was in. The worldwide march of democracy went on. All that was left was to argue about why we stuck with our tawdry pet dictator for so long and to support Corazon Aquino as she danced around coup attempts and worked her way out of the problems the Marcoses had caused. This view of the new Philippines is comforting. Oh, medyo nako-comforting daw sila. But after 6 weeks in the country, I don't think it's very realistic. Nag-stay daw siya ng 6 weeks sa bansa natin. Yung, yung improvement na nakikita ng mga Pilipino, ang sabi niya, I don't think it's very realistic, no, after the Marcoses. Americans would like to believe that the only colony we ever had, a country that modeled its institutions on ours and still cares deeply about its relation with the United States, is progressing under our wing. It's not, for reasons that go far beyond what the Marcoses did or stole. The countries that surround the Philippines have become the world's most famous showcases for the impact of culture on economic development. Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, all are short on natural resources, no? Itong mga bansang ito, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore daw, konti lang ang kanilang natural resources. But all, as their officials never stop telling you, mga officials nila, mga nasa gobyerno, have clawed their way up through hard study and hard work. Ganun ang ginawa nila. Konti lang ang natural resources nila, ang yaman nila, yung likas na yaman, pero yung kanilang mga officials have clawed their way up through hard study and hard work. Okay, mamaya ako natatanungin kung ganun din ba ginawa natin. Okay. Unfortunately, for its people, o siya na nagsasabi nito, ha? The Philippines illustrates the contrary. That culture can make a naturally rich country poor. Di ba? Yung kultura daw can make a naturally rich country na likas na yaman, gaya ng Pilipinas, na maging mahirap. Kahit daw maraming likas na yaman. Dahil sa kultura. That culture can make a naturally rich country poor. Di ba? Sakit nun. There may be more miserable places to live in East Asia. Mas marami pa daw lugar na mas miserable tirahan sa East Asia, kagaya ng Vietnam, Cambodia. But there are few others where the culture itself, rather than a communist political system, is the main barrier to development. Nakita nyo? There are few others where the culture itself, yung kultura mismo daw, ang barrier sa development, main barrier. The culture in question is Filipino, but it has been heavily shaped by nearly 100 years of the Phil-Am relationship. The result is apparently the only non-communist society in East Asia in which the average living standard is going down. My goodness. 1987, ito ang observation ng mundo, ng ibang bansa sa atin. 1987 yan. Okay. Tuloy ko pa. No, huwag na kayong iiyak. Thank you so much for watching. Our one final disclaimer. It can seem bullying or graceless for an American to criticize the Philippines. Seen from Manila, the United States is strong and rich. Seen from anywhere, the Philippines is troubled and poor. O di ba ang sakit nun? Pagka tayo daw ang tumingin sa US, ang tingin natin sa kanila, strong country, rich country. Pero pag lumabas ka ng Pilipinas at tanungin sila, how do you define people in the Philippines? How do you define the country Philippines? Ang sagot daw ay, the Philippines is troubled and poor. Kakalungkot, di ba? Sabi pa niya, why pick on people who need help? Di ba? Bakit mo aapihin yung mga taong nangangailangan ng tulong? The Filipino ethic of delicadeza, their equivalent of saying, saving face, no, encourages people to raise unpleasant topics indirectly, or better still, not to raise them at all. Out of respect for delicadeza, or from a vague sense of guilt that the former colony is still floundering, or because of genuine fondness for the Filipino people, the United States tolerates polite fictions about the Philippines that it would ruthlessly puncture if they concerned France or even Mexico. Baka masugatan daw kasi ang relasyon, kaya tinotolerate na lang ng US yung mga polite fictions na tungkol sa Pilipinas. Ayaw nila tayo masaktan. Okay? Don't pretend that my view of the Philippines is authoritative, sabi niya. But I've never before been in a country where my initial impressions were so totally at odds with the standard, comforting, let's all pull together view. No? It seems to me that the prospects for the Philippines are about as dismal as those for, say, South Korea are bright. In each case, the basic explanation seems to be culture. In each case daw, the basic explanation seems to be culture. In the one case, a culture that brings out the productive best in the Koreans, or the Japanese, or now even the Thais, the Thailand. And in the other culture that pulls many Filipinos toward their most self-destructive, self-defeating worst. James Fallows, correspondent or staff writer, The Atlantic, November 1987 issue. Hindi ako nagsabi niyan, ha? Now let's go to that culture na sinasabi niya. Filipino culture and the family. Umpisa natin sa family. What is a family? O kasi sabi ko noon sa bahay, sa pamilya, lahat ng gagaling ang problema ng bayan. Lahat ng hinahandle ng problema ng bayan ngayon ay galing sa bahay. Okay, isa-isahin natin kung bakit. Papa Angelo, patunayan mo nga bakit galing sa bahay ang problema ng bayan. Okay. Family, sabi sa Merriam-Webster Dictionary, is the basic unit in society, traditionally consisting of two parents rearing their children. Also, any of various social units differing from but regarded as equivalent to the traditional family. Another definition, a spouse and children, that's family. Meron pa ang pangalawang definition, a group of individuals living under one roof and usually under one head. Okay. Okay, so meron maraming definition yung family daw. Balikan natin. Wikipedia. Ano ang definition ng Wikipedia sa family? Tingnan natin, ha? Family. This article is about the group of related people. Okay. Mahaba ang explanation ng Wikipedia. In human society, family, from Latin, familia, is a group of people related either by consanguinity, by recognized birth, or affinity, by marriage or other relationship. Okay? The purpose of families is to maintain the well-being of its members and of society. Ideally, families would offer predictability, structure, and safety as members mature and participate in the community. In most societies, it is within families that children acquire socialization for life outside the family. Additionally, as the basic unit for meeting the basic needs of its members, it provides a sense of boundaries for performing tasks in a safe environment. Ideally builds a person into a functional adult, transmits culture, and ensures continuity of humankind with precedence of knowledge. Well, lalim ng definition ng family sa Wikipedia, ha? Okay. Ano naman kaya ang definition ng family pag gobyerno natin, anong natin? Government ng bansa natin ngayon. Ito, sabi nila. Family Code of the Philippines, Article 149. The family, being the foundation of the nation, siya, narinig niyo yung salitang foundation? The family, being the foundation of the nation, is a basic social institution which public policy cherishes and protects. Consequently, family relations are governed by law and no custom, practice, or agreement destructive of the family shall be recognized or given effect. Pinakagusto ko yung first line. The family being the foundation of the nation. O sila may sabi niya, hindi ako, binabasa ko lang, ha. Article 149 Family Code. Google niya. Define foundation. Babalikan ko ang Merriam-Webster. Sabi niya, an underlying base or support, especially the whole masonry substructure of a building. A body or ground upon which something is built up or overlaid. Okay? So, saan ba nakikita ang foundation ng bawat building? Sa ilalim. Pag yan nasira ang foundation, may chance bumagsak ang building, matumba? Oh yes, meron po. Kasi dyan nakasalalay ang tibay ng isang building. Eh kaso, sabi ng ating gobyerno, ang family, ang foundation ng ating bansa. At di dapat, wala tayong masyadong problema ngayon kung matibay ang bawat pamilya ng bayang Pilipinas. Ang bawat Pilipino. Di ba? Foundation ng nation eh. So kung ganito ang sitwasyon natin ngayon, puro tayo problema sa bansa, ibig sabihin, maraming pamilya ang nasira. Ang foundation ng bansang Pilipinas ay nasira. Okay? Agree or disagree? Pwede sana, ang ganda ng bayan natin noon pa. 30 years ago. Pag-upo lang ni Cory Aquino, sana para na tayo Singapore ngayon. Di ba? Eh, kung di nyo alam, pinagtatawa lang tayo ng mga yan. Hindi lang natin naiintindihan salita nila. Okay. Okay. What is a culture? O define natin ang culture. Anong meaning ng culture? Merriam-Webster din. Hingi tayong tulong. Culture, number 1 definition nila, the customary beliefs, social forms, and material traits of a racial, religious, or social group. Also, sabi niya, the characteristics, features of everyday existence, such as diversions or a way of life, shared by people in a place or time. Mas gusto ko itong pangalawang definition. The set of shared attitudes, values, goals, and practices that characterizes an institution or organization. So, nakikilala daw ang kultura ng mga tao sa isang lugar according sa kanilang shared attitudes, values, and goals, and practices. Okay? So, yan po ang meaning ng culture. Tingnan natin, ano bang nangyayari sa ating culture? So, umpisahan natin uli. Kung saan galing ang pamilya? Sino ba ang nag-establish ng family? Kanina nagsimula? Galing ba yan kay A. Adam, B. Society, C. Congress, D. President, E. Senators, F. Oh, maabot ng F. None of the above. Sino ang nag-establish ng family? Sino ang sagot nyo? Neither of them. Congress? Paano nangyari yun? Congress ang gumawa ng family. Senador? Paano nangyari yun? Presidente? Paano nangyari yun? Society? Paano nangyari yun? Si Adan? Pwede. Saan galing si Adan? Sa Diyos. Sa God. Okay. So, para magkaroon ng family, kailangan mag-join ang isang babae at isang lalaki. Tama? Yan ang design ng Diyos eh. Hindi pwedeng man to man or female to female. Why, Papa Angelo? Paano makakabuo ng bata yan? Paano magiging family? Okay? So, para magsama ang isang babae at lalaki, kailangan ikasal. Tama? O, sino gumawa ng marriage? Who is the author of marriage? Senators? Letter A. Letter B, Congress. Letter C, President. Letter D, Society. Or letter E, none of the above. None of the above pa rin. It is God. God is the author of marriage. So, i-analyze natin, ha? So, kung ang building ay nasira ang bintana, hindi siya i-condemn ng City Hall. Tama? Kung may sumabog man, gaya na nangyari sa isang condominium sa Makati, hindi naman apektuhan ang foundation, hindi siya i-condemn ng City Hall. Correct? Pero kung may nakita silang crack sa foundation ng building, they can say, this building is condemned. Tanggalin nyo na yan, gibahin nyo na yan, bago pa makadisgrasya. So, ganun kahalaga ang foundation. Okay? So, kung ano man ang nangyayari ngayon sa gobyerno, sa bansa natin ngayon, sa lupaing ito na tinitirahan natin, babalikan natin lagi ang pinagmulan. What? The foundation. Anong sabi ng batas natin? Family Code. Family. Ang foundation daw ng bansang ito. Ano ba nangyayari sa pamilya natin ngayon? Alam natin yung sagot dyan. Kinain na tayo ng sistema, ng kulturang hindi maka-Diyos. Yun ang punot dulo ng sakit ng ating bayan. Siyempre, pag hindi maka-Diyos, kulturang hindi maka-Diyos, anong tawag natin? Makademonyo po, Papa Angelo. O, kayo may sabi niya, ha? Kaya sumagot niya, ha? Hindi ako, ha? Okay. So, dahil nasira na ang pamilya, nasira na ang foundation ng bansa, tingnan natin, silipin natin ngayon, bakit ba nasisira ang foundation ng bansa? Bakit ba nasisira ang pamilya? Ito na ngayon, papasok na ang annulment, nullity of marriage, pati ang divorce. Okay? Divorce issue na pilit na pinapasok ng mga tao sa Kongreso. Ito na. Balikan natin history ng divorce. Bakit ba mayroong divorce na pinag-uusapan? Balikan natin. Babasahin ko sa page 18 ng isang Supreme Court decision. Okay? Dahil Supreme Court ito nagsasalita, ha? Babasahin ko lang. Mas credible to. Okay. Page 18, Supreme Court Decision, GR number 221029, NBank, April 24, 2018, Republic of the Philippines versus Marilyn T. Manalo. Ito ang sabi ng Supreme Court tungkol sa divorce background, historical background. Notably, a law on absolute divorce is not new in our country. Sa Pilipinas daw. Hindi bago yan. Effective March 11, 1917, Philippine courts could grant an absolute divorce on the grounds of adultery on the part of the wife or concubinage on the part of the husband by virtue of Act number 2710 of the Philippine Legislature. On March 25, 1943, pursuant to the authority conferred upon him by the Commander-in-Chief of the Imperial Japanese Forces in the Philippines, and with the with the approval of the latter, the chairman of the Philippine Executive Commission promulgated an Executive Order number 141, or what is called New Divorce Law, which repealed Act number 2710 and provided 11 grounds for absolute divorce, such as intentional or unjustified desertion, pag-alis, intentional or unjustified desertion, continuously for at least 1 year prior to the filing of the action ng isa sa mag-asawa. A slander by deed or gross insult by one spouse against the other to such an extent as to make further living together impracticable, and espouse incurable insanity. So yun yung mga grounds na binigay. Okay? When the Philippines was liberated and the Commonwealth government was restored, it ceased to have force and effect. Nawala yung force and effect ng divorce law na yan nung ma-liberate daw ang Pilipinas at naitayo ang Commonwealth government. And Act number 2710 again prevailed. Nag-prevail yung isang batas na ginawa noon. Pero from August 30, 1950, upon the effectivity of Republic Act number 386 or the new Civil Code, an absolute divorce obtained by Filipino citizens, whether here or abroad, is no longer recognized. Okay, narinig nyo? Yan ang history ng divorce natin. So, through the years, there has been constant clamor from various sectors of the Philippine society to reinstitute absolute divorce. No? Ang dami nagsisikap na maipasok yan sa Kongreso at maging sapat na batas. Now, ang question ko sa inyong lahat na nagsusulong ng divorce law, ito ba talaga ang sagot sa problema ng ating pamilya? Divorce, pag ayaw mo na, hiwalay na. Ito ba talaga? How about kung alamin muna natin kung paano ba magpamilya? Mangyayari ba yung divorce? Now, present news, ha? Tingnan natin itong present news tungkol sa divorce na yan. Galing sa onenews.ph. Latest lang to. February 10, 2020. Bago mag-pandemic. From onenews.ph. Why annulment and legal separation are not enough for divorce advocates. Some court decisions show how difficult it is to undo marriages in the Philippines, the only country in the world, besides the Vatican, that does not allow couples to divorce. The House of Representatives is again moving to give the option to divorce the spouses in the Philippines. The only country in the world besides the Vatican that does not allow them to do so, even if they declare that their marriage no longer works. On Wednesday, the House Committee on Population and Family Relations approved in principle the so-called Marriage Dissolution Bill. The provisions to be submitted by the committee to the plenary are not yet finished. A technical working group will meet on Feb 12 to finalize the text. Christian fundamentalists, however, continue to be at the forefront of opposing divorce. Some argue that the options of annulment, which can be costly, and legal separation are already available under Articles 45 and 55 of the Family Code. An executive order enacted by then President Corazon Aquino during her revolutionary government when there was no Congress composed of legislators directly elected by the people. Understanding these existing legal remedies is important to determining whether there is really no need for the option of divorce or dissolution of marriage. Okay, yan po ang sitwasyon ngayon. Dahil sa pandemic na udlot, sabi siguro ng Diyos, bigyan ko muna kayo ng pandemic, turuan ko muna kayo ng leksyon para balikan nyo ang foundation na sinisira nyo dahil sa inyong attitude, sa inyong kultura, etc., etc. So, ito na. True stories of broken marriages. Papunta na tayo kung bakit nasisira ang pamilya, ang foundation. Iisa-isahin ko ang bawat crack na nangyayari sa loob ng bawat foundation ng bansa, which is the family. Sa loob ng bahay natin. Sa bawat nagpapamilya o nagpapakasal o bumubuo ng pamilya. Then, we shall analyze what went wrong. Uunahin natin basahin what went wrong, kung anong sabi ng gobyerno, at anong sabi naman ng Diyos tungkol doon. Okay? Yung guide na binigay niya sa Bible. So, let's begin our true stories of broken marriages and families in the Philippines. Unang kaso. True story to. Pag sinabing true story, ito yung mga actual court cases na pumasok na isampa sa korte. Okay? At tandaan natin na kapag may technicalities or legal issues, ang isang annulment ay iaapila ng gobyerno sa Supreme Court. Sa Court of Appeals din Supreme Court. Okay? So, tingnan natin ang kwento ng isang unang kaso natin. Alaglag pa. So, siyempre, para sa protection ng parties, hindi ko sasabihin ng pangalan. Okay? At ganito magiging takbo ng kwento natin. Okay? Dear Papa Angelo, ako po ay nag-file ng petition for annulment against sa aking asawa na na-meet ko sometime in July 2013. Babae ang nag-file ng annulment. Babae, ha? Na-meet ko ang aking ex-husband in July 2013. English kasi to. Diretso ko ng English, ha? Para hindi magtagal. Okay lang? They were introduced to... Napakilala kami. Basahin ko lang. They were introduced to each other by a common friend. She added that the respondent is a seaman working on a passenger cruise line waiting for his next contract when she met him while she worked as a business specialist in Alabang, Muntinlupa. After their first meeting, the respondent invited her out for a date. They dated for almost 2 weeks before they became officially in an amorous relationship. Wow. She was so overwhelmed by the attention and kindness she received from the respondent. Sometime in October 2013, respondent went on board, yung seaman, sumakay na ng barko, for his 8-month contract. Their relationship went well. They continued communicating through Viber and other social applications available on the internet. Wow, sweet, huh? On the 5th month of their relationship, respondent called her asking her to marry him. Will you marry me? Sabi sa babae. Yun ang sabi niya sa akin, Papa Angelo. Okay. She gladly accepted his proposal, as she thought he was the one who destined to love her for the rest of their lives. As she thought he was the one destined to love her for the rest of her life. So yun ang kanyang feeling. Her parents were surprised of her decision to settle down, as they opined that she hardly knew the respondent. They contracted marriage on August 17, 2014. So kailan sila nagkakilala? July 2013. Nagpakasal kagad August 17, 2014. The first few months of their marriage went well. However, when the respondent resumed his work on a ship, they argued, as he wants her to resign from her job so they can immediately have a baby. So pinagre-resign siya ni Seaman para magka-baby daw sila. She don't want to resign from her job because it would hamper her long-time awaited promotion. Wag muna kasi hinihintay ko pa yung promotion ko, honey. Pwede ba ang i-delay lang muna natin? Sayang naman yung tataas ang sahod ko doon. She don't want to resign from her job because it would hamper her long-time awaited promotion. She agreed to have a baby, but argued that she need not resign from her job. Okay, sige. Parang iba yata yung kwento ko. Okay. Pumayag magka-baby, pero hindi kailangan mag-resign. She thought that their differences about the matter were already settled. But when the respondent got back from his work abroad, she noticed that the seaman seldom communicates with her. Bihira na raw siyang kontakin nung bumalik na uli sa abroad, sa barko. She confronted him, but the respondent reasoned out that he cannot contact her because of a poor internet connection. Honey, pasensya na, ang hina ng connection sa barko, ng internet, tsaka ang mahal pa. Dinagdagan. Mahinang signal doon sa internet. Nagkakaligaw-ligaw nga yung barko namin kasi hindi nyo makita yung dahil sa date, naka-data lang kami doon. Hindi makarating ng maaga yung barko. Kapaikot-ikot lang kami sa dagat. Okay. As she saw the active status of the respondent on Facebook, active sa Facebook, nakikita niya, tapos poor internet connection, kung ano nang pinopost yata. She did not believe him. Hindi ako agad naniwala, Papa Angelo. Full internet connection, tapos active lagi sa Facebook. Niloloko niya ako. Di ba, Papa Angelo? Oo nga. To spite her, the respondent did not communicate with her for a month before he took his vacation. Hindi daw siya kinontak ng isang buwan. Upon the respondent's arrival in Manila, ito, bumalik na si Seaman. She fetched him from the airport to reconcile with him. O babae pa ang sumundo sa kanya sa airport, ha? Opo, Papa Angelo, sinundo ko siya. Bakit? Bakit mo sinundo? Kasi, gusto kong i-reconcile ang aming differences. O talaga? O, tige tuloy mo, Papa Angelo, basahin mo ulit. The respondent did not appreciate her gesture. O, nagalit pa si Seaman. Ba't mo ko sinundo? Ha? Sinabi ko pa sunduin mo ako? O, syempre, asawa kita. Nagalit si lalaki. Sinundo ng babae, asawa niya, sinundo siya. Nagalit. She felt that the respondent, si Seaman, avoided her and refused to have a private time with her. Aba? Si babae na yung nagsasabi, let's have a private time. Ayaw ni lalaki. Tumanggi. The respondent wasted his time and hard-earned money treating his barkada outside. So, imbes na kasamahan ng asawa, sinundo pa nga siya, mas pumunta sa barkada. Okay? Yun ang tinreat niya. Sabi kong pera! Inuwan tayo! The change in the attitude of the respondent ensued. Frequent fights between them. Lagi na kami nag-aaway, Papa Angelo. The respondent started to physically hurt her. Sinaktan niya ako, Papa Angelo. One time, they argued because the respondent went home drunk.
Ano ba itong buhay ko dito? Naglasing ako.
While they were arguing, the respondent pushed her on the wall and grabbed her on her neck and arms.
Habang nagtatalo daw sila, o ba't ka umuwi lasing? Bakit? Buhay ko to ah. Wala kang pakialam sa buhay ko. Ba't ka nakikialam, ha? Sakalin kita, sasakalin kita.
Grab her on her neck and arms. Hinawakan yung kamay. Hinawakan niya pa kamay ko, Papa Angelo, tapos sinakal niya ako. O tapos, anong ginawa niya? The bruises and marks left by the violent acts of the respondent was not concealed to a friend at her workplace. Pumasok siya sa work, nakita yung sugat niya, nakita yung kanyang mga pasa. Siguro lalaki nakakita. She was compelled to disclose her marital woes to a male office mate who is close to her. When he noticed the bruises and contusion she suffered from the hands of her own husband. Sinaktan ka ba ng asawa mo? Naku, kawawa ka naman. Napakasalbahe ng mga asawa yan. So, yung male office mate niya, nalaman yung problema niya. From then on, simula noon, her office mate regularly texted her to ask her if she is doing well. Lagi na niya akong tinetext, Papa Angelo, yung office mate kong lalaki, na concern sa akin, nakita yung mga pasa ko. Lagi na niya akong sinusubaybayan, baka sinasaktan uli ako ng asawa ko. Oo, talaga? Pupunta siya doon sa bahay niyo, superhero? Hoy, huwag mo saktan niya! Ang galing niya, ha? She was able to cope with her situation because she was able to unload the feelings she had at that time. Naging crying shoulder yung office mate na lalaki, ha? Na-unload yung kanyang mga bigat sa buhay. Nasaan na ba? The respondent, si Seaman, yung kanyang husband, started to be overjealous with her friend because of her friend's text messages. Ano yan, mga text na yan, ha? Ano yan, pinag-uusapan niyo ako? Ha? Mga taksil! The respondent would hit her whenever he would see her using her phone. O, yun nga. Lalong sinasaktan yung babae. Hawak yung phone eh. So, umiral na yung selos. Ito na. The respondent assumed that petitioner was communicating with her male colleague, yung office mate na lalaki. In view of the unfounded suspicion of the respondent, the latter forced her to have sex with him while he was heavily drunk. So, naging manginginom siya, Papa Angelo. Lagi na lang siya lasing tuwing uuwi. Tapos, pinapwersa niya ako makapag-sex sa kanya. Every time lagi siyang lasing. O tapos, binibigay mo naman. Teka lang, wala pa dito. Di ko pa nabasa. She tried to avoid the sexual insinuations of the respondent. Sinubukan kong umiwas, Papa Angelo. Pero, hindi ko kaya, malakas siya. She endured a lot of pain in the process of fighting with him so that he could not undress her. Ang hirap mo namang hubalan. Ha? Hindi ko tanggalin lahat. Napahirapan mo buhay ko. She even got so frightened sleeping with the respondent in view of the thought that he might hurt her while she was asleep. Makasaktan daw siya habang natutulog siya. So, naiilang na siyang mahiga sa tabi ng kanyang asawa. She did not disclose her situation to her family because she thought that the respondent would hurt her even more. Hindi niya pinaalam sa pamilya niya. Baka mas lalo siyang saktan. Paano kung war freak nga yung tatay niya? No? Nasaan yung lalaking yan, ha? Punta sa bahay niyo, tatagtagain ko yan. Tama yung ginawa niya. Okay, mamaya ako magko-comment. Kwento muna ako. Okay. She was also hoping that they can still give their marriage a second chance. However, they were not able to save their marriage. Upon the return of the respondent to his duty overseas, the respondent did not bother to communicate with her. The respondent even posted his picture on the social sites having a drink with several women inside a bar. Ba, happy na si Seaman na husband uli sa barko, ha? Having drinks with different women, ha? Pinopost pa sa FB, ha? One time, she received a message from a certain woman disclosing to her that the respondent has a love child. Papa Angelo! May nag-message sa akin. Meron ng anak yung kasama ko sa kanya. The woman asked for financial support for her child as allegedly the respondent had not been supporting his son for a long time. Yung lalaking yun, binuntis na yung babae, hindi pa sinusuportahan yung bata. She felt so betrayed, which, teka lang, next page, prompted her to immediately confront the respondent. Kinonfronta niya yung asawa niya. Sino yung babaeng binuntis mo? Tapos hindi mo pa sinusuportahan? Walang iya mong lalaki ka. The respondent initially tried to deny it. Ano? Sigurado kang ako yun? Ako tatay nun, ha? Ano ebidensya mo? Wala kang ebidensya, di ba? Tumawag lang sa'yo. O paano ko na wrong number lang yon? Paano ko na wrong send lang? Ha? Imbestigahan mo ba? She was so outraged, and she was not able to prevent herself from slapping him. Walang iya ka! Pak! Sinampal ulit sa kapila. Pak! From then on, they would always exchange convictions against each other on every mistake that they committed. She also caught the respondent maintaining other women through the text messages that she read on his cell phone. Oo, nagsasama pa rin sila. Tapos may nababasa. May nababasa ako, Papa Angelo, ng mga text messages sa iba-ibang babae. She learned that the other woman was a minor whom the respondent met in a place where he used to hang out with friends. Papa Angelo, mukhang 16 years old pa pala yung babae. Napaka walang yan ito. Asawa ko nito. She got courage to fight with the respondent, wherein they both ended up physically hurt. Nagbugbugan silang dalawa. At that point, she no longer exerted effort to save the marriage. She was so depressed, which prompted her to leave the respondent and hid in the house of her relative in the province. The respondent did not even show any feelings toward her. Wala nang feelings, hindi na siya hinanap. He did not even send any remittance nor communicate with her. At hindi na alam niyo na ang ending nito. Ay ako. So yan po ang nangyari sa kanilang buhay, pamilya. Ano ang sabi ng korte tungkol sa kanilang hihiwalay? Nag-file ng petition si babae. Basahin natin ang sabi ng korte, ng judge. May psychological test na nangyari. So, na-examine ng babae. Yung lalaki hindi sumagot. Pero yung nanay niya, nakisama, ha? Ito ang sabi ng korte. Article 68 of the Family Code obligates the husband and wife to live together, observe mutual love, respect, and fidelity, and render mutual help and support. In the instant case, the love, fidelity, loyalty, and entrenched adherence to the marital vows between the spouses, which are the basic postulates of marriage, were not complied with, but rather were utterly disregarded and violated by both the petitioner and respondent. The petitioner and the respondent may have lived together, but respondent's refusal to communicate with the petitioner is similar to not living together at all. The respondent's act forcing the petitioner to have sex with him while he was heavily drunk, physically hurting the petitioner, and his sexual infidelities manifests the respondent's lack of love and respect to the petitioner. In the same manner, the petitioner's behavior of being argumentative, her constant complaints of being misunderstood and blaming her personal misfortune to the respondent had brought about her failure to perform her basic marital obligations to the respondent. The expert opinion of clinical psychologists enabled the court to properly determine the issue of psychological incapacity of the spouses. His psychological evaluation showed that both the petitioner and respondent were found to suffer psychological disorders. Petitioner is suffering from passive-aggressive personality disorder, while the respondent is suffering from narcissistic personality disorder, which resulted to their inability to fully comprehend and perform their basic marital obligations. The couple's constant conflicts has caused constant emotional, physical, and psychological trauma to the petitioner. Further, the consistent manifestation of their dysfunctional traits throughout, before and during, and after the marriage points to the fact that their negative behavioral patterns are permanent and deeply rooted within their overall personality. As explained by clinical psychologists, the root cause of the petitioner's disorder can be attributed to the manner by which she was brought up by her caregivers, wherein she developed anger that petitioner found it to be difficult to control, while the personality disorder of the respondent was brought about by respondent's exposure to unhealthy lifestyle, lack of affection and support from the family, rejection and poor motivation during his formative years. Lastly, it has been shown that the spouses possess severe, grave, and incurable personality flaws that have been present even prior to the celebration of their marriage. Both of them have consistently been unable to render love and support towards each other, and neither they had been able to adequately help in the management and support of their household. The lack of personal examination and interview of the person diagnosed with personality disorder, like the respondent, so hindi na-examine yung seaman, no? Hindi rin na-interview, did not per se invalidate the findings of the expert. O, maswerte siya, ha? Kahit hindi siya na-interview, tinanggap pa rin yung findings ng psychologist. Though the respondent was not interviewed nor examined, the Supreme Court has held that there is no requirement that the respondent's spouse should be personally examined by a physician or psychologist, or a condition sine qua non for the declaration of nullity of marriage based on psychological incapacity. What matters is whether the totality of evidence presented is adequate to sustain a finding of psychological incapacity. Okay? Ayan ay ayon din sa mga naunang kaso na ng Supreme Court. If the totality of evidence presented is enough to sustain a finding of psychological incapacity, then actual medical examination of the person concerned need not be resorted to. Okay? As quoted from the case of Valerio E. Calao, petitioner versus Maria Elena Fernandez, under GR number 166357, January 14, 2015. Thus, based on the totality of evidence on record, it clearly shows that petitioner and respondent as husband and wife failed to comply with their marital obligations to live together, observe mutual love, respect, and fidelity, and render mutual help and support, as written in Article 68 of Family Code of the Philippines. Wherefore, premises considered, judgment is hereby rendered, declaring the marriage between the parties null and void ab initio in accordance with Article 36 of the Family Code of the Philippines. Okay? So, ang binasa natin, isang kaso pa lang kung paano nasisira ang isang pamilya. Okay? Teka na, wala yung music ko. Kailangan may music para maganda yung mood. Mabilis mong matapos. Okay.
It's YouTube Music.
Oh,
Download the app today and get a trial of Music Premium on us. Restrictions apply.
So, binasa ko ang desisyon ng isang korte tungkol sa kanilang problema. At binasa ko din kung anong findings ng korte. So, ang pinagbasehan ay ang nasusulat sa batas ng pagpapamilya ayon sa ating family code. Now, on the side of God, representative lang ako ng Diyos dito, ha? Hindi ko sinasabing ito ang sinabi niya. Ayon sa kanilang istorya, kasi para sa akin, yung findings ng psychologist, ng psychiatrist, yung findings na yan, ay ayon sa naobserbahan nila sa mga nangyari. So, this is the science of man. The explanation on the science side of man. Pero pag tinanong mo naman ang manufacturer ng man, sino ba ang gumawa ng tao? Of course, ang Diyos. Paano ba niya dinesign ang tao? Paano ba niya dinesign ang babae? Mas dapat nating balikan kung paano ba sila ginawa. Kasi yung sinabing grounds na dahil sa kanilang kinalakihan, dahil sa hindi naka-move on, kaya may ugali pa rin dala-dala nila hanggang sa nag-asawa sila na hindi lumabas bago ikasal at lumabas lang nung kinasal na. Findings yan before and during, or during and after the marriage. So how about yung before? Why hindi natin i-analyze? Para hindi sana nauwi sa paghihiwalay. Diba? Okay. Ayon sa istorya nila, gusto ni lalaki na magkaanak sila, seaman. O kung malakas sigurong kita niya, huwag ka na magtrabaho, sa bahay ka na lang. Mag-anak na lang tayo. Siguro, kaya naman siya pinakasalan, gusto ng matinong buhay. Gusto ng mag-going straight ni lalaki. Eh kaso, si babae, ayaw ko pa. Kasi, may hinihintay akong promotion. Although pumayag siyang magkaanak, di ba? Pero hindi na lumabas dun sa istorya kung nabuntis ba. It looks like hindi nabuo. Walang nabuong baby sa kanilang dalawa. So ito si lalaki, parang nawalan ng gana, balik sa barko, enjoy, nabawasan yung excitement para kontakin lagi asawa niya. Siguro hindi rin niya nakita yung effort ng asawa niya, ng babae, yung effort na magkaanak sila. Going to serious life na eh. Kapag nagsabi ang lalaki sa babae na gusto ko magkaanak, gusto magkapamilya, going into serious na yan. Kaya pagka kayong mga babae, pag sinabihan kayo ng boyfriend yung, asawa nyo ha, hindi boyfriend ha. Pag sinabi ng boyfriend nyo yan, kasal muna. Okay. Be ready. So, pagkatapos yung ikasal, at naghangad talaga yung lalaki ng anak, kailangan pinagkasundoan nyo na yan bago pa kayo magpirmahan. Okay, papayag ako, sige, first few months natin, let's try to have a baby. At dapat makisama kang babae ka, ha? Papa Angelo, ba't mo ako pinapagalitan? Sa'yo nga ako sumusulat eh. Okay, kasi dapat ka rin sisihin eh. Sinabihan ka mag-resign, hindi ka naniwala sa asawa mo, hindi ka nakinig. Kaya doon pumapasok yung prinsipyo ng Diyos na submit to your husband. Hindi ka nakinig eh, pumasok ka pa rin sa trabaho mo. Paano ka makakabuo? Kaya siguro hindi kayo nakabuo dahil pasok ka ng pasok. Hindi mo naman sinabi ko ng trabaho mo dito. Ano ka ba? Gym instructor? Baka yun ang dahilan kaya hindi ka nakabuo. Dahil trabaho ka ng trabaho. Kung stressful yung job mo, paano ka makakabuo talaga? Paano kayo makakabuo? Tapos, kinuwento mo pa yung problema nyo sa kaopisina mo. O di nalaman tuloy.
pinapasok mo sa buhay nyo, yung office mate mong lalaki. Pinapasok mo kinukwento mo So sa mga mag-asawa, never ilalabas yung problema nyo sa ibang tao. Dahil manghihimasok talaga yan sa inyong buhay. Sikapin nyong kausapin ang inyong partner tungkol sa inyong concern. Kung hindi ka pinapansin, edi sulatan mo, sabihin mo yung intention mo, at huwag palaban ng sulat, huwag palaban ng dating. Pag di mo ako kinausap, lalo huwag mong takutin. Magpapakamatay ako. Huwag mong tatakutin din ng gano'n dahil hindi effective yun, ha? Ang sasagot lang sa inyo, edi magpakamatay ka. lalo na kung wala nang gana sa'yo, tapos takutin mo ng gano'n, hindi effective yun, iha. At iho, ha? Kung mananakot ka sa babae, sasabihin mo magpapakamatay ka. May mga babaeng matatakot, baka tutuhanin style ng mga lalaki yan para makatikim, no? O yung mga iho, baguhin nyo na yung style nyo. What else? May kabutihan ka rin ginawa, babae, na hindi mo kinuwento sa pamilya mo yung problema ninyo mag-asawa. Okay? Sa inyo lang talaga dapat yan, na-solve pa lang. Sa level ninyong dalawa, na-solve na yan. At sinikap nyo sanang makipag-usap sa inyong mga ninong at ninang. Yun ang trabaho nila. I-save ang inyong marriage. Kung hindi kaya ng magulang ninyo, punta kayo sa mga sponsors ninyo. Di ba kaya nyo sila pinili dahil gusto nyo sila maging pangalawang magulang? Ang mahirap kasi dyan, kaya mo sila, pag ang sitwasyon, pinili nyo yung mga ninong-ninang ninyo dahil sa magandang regalo, talagang masusubukan ang tibay ng inyong kasal, ng inyong pagsasama. Kaya pag nagpakasal ka, huwag niyong daanin sa material na bagay. Ito, piliin natin ninong at nina kasi mayaman to. Nakabigyan tayo ng 2 days, 3 nights vacation sa Boracay, sa Thailand, sa Indonesia. Ito, piliin natin to. May travel agency to. Naku, kung ganyan ang maging basehan nyo sa pagpili ng sponsors, ewan ko kung anong guidance may bibigay sa inyo pag nagka-problema na kayo. Kasi hindi maganda yung objective, yung intention na ginawa nyo sa pagpili ng ninong-ninang. Okay? Siyempre, kung maganda yung intention ninyo sa pagpili ng ninong-ninang, dalawa dyan ang makikialam. Makikialam in the sense na concerned sila. Kakausapin yung asawa mo, kakausapin ka nung isa. Kumbaga, magsisikap sila na mapagharap kayong dalawa. Okay? Again, pipili kayo ng ninong-ninang sa mga kasal. Piliin nyo ng tama. Paano yung Papa Angelo? Piliin nyo na may aasahan kayong magandang guidance. Hindi yung may aasahan kayong regalo. Pag inisip nyo yung regalo, talagang God will never bless your marriage. Because parang nagpakasal lang kayo because of material things, may hinahabol kayo. Iba yung intention nyo kung kayo nagpakasal. So, never do that. So, ano pa? Meron pa ba ako nakalimutan? Nakakalungkot yung naging ending ng kanilang pagsasama, ng kanilang kasal. At sa mga susunod na kwento, marami pang mas grabe dyan. Okay? At remember, pinag-uusapan natin ngayon ang foundation na sumisira sa bansa, which is the family. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I am not a pastor, I am not a priest, neither a religious leader, or do I represent a particular church. I have no religion. Okay? I am just an obedient follower of God and man's laws. Pero kapag umattend ako ng misa, umattend ako ng fellowship ng mga born again, kinukuha ko yung magagandang bagay na sinasabi nila. Okay? Mature na tayo. Alam nyo kung anong tama at mali. Adi, huwag mong dalhin, huwag mong bitbitin palabas yung mali. Bitbitin mo yung tama. Yung alam mong galing sa guide, galing sa Bible. Okay? So, I studied both the Bible and the laws of man for the last 30 years. And I never stopped from learning. I'm still studying up to now. That's God's commandment to never stop learning kahit sa gabi, mag-aral daw. Yes, it's in the Bible, kahit sa gabi. These things became my guide in running my life properly. Medyo na late lang because I made wrong decisions in the past. Because ang feeling ko din noon, I know everything na. So I can handle my life na without Him. Ganun ang attitude ko noon. Again, attitude problem. Pero I was wrong. God had corrected me the most painful way a man can feel or experience. Just like the prophet Job in the Bible. Kaya huwag nyo nang hintayin na mangyari yung pagkukorek sa inyo ng Diyos. Masakit siya mag-correct. Masakit. But instead of complaining against Him or this government, I remain humble. I choose to be humble. Then I started finding the root cause of all my life's problem and sought God's help to understand these things. God helped me. He helped me comprehend all these life's problem. And the secret to avoid life's problem is to simply follow the principles He taught in the Bible. So, use them as our guide. Our GPS sa biyahe ng ating buhay. Kaya kung individual ka, magulang, o solo parent ka na naguguluhan sa buhay, at lubhang naapektuhan ng pandemic na ito, ang pamilya mo, you're about to lose your mind, nababaliw ka na, there is always an answer to life's problems. Nandito lang si Papa Angelo. So, come to Papa Angelo. Ha? Because life is not a mystery daw, according to Dr. Miles Monroe. Lahat yan. May dahilan, may purpose. Alamin natin. Everything in life is designed to function by laws, sabi niya. These God's laws are life principles too. And if we just follow all of them, life would be prosperous, peaceful. Trials or life hardships would be very easy to handle, lalo na if you have the right guide. So now, I have the right guide, the right perspective in life. Because I strongly believe that if you have the right guide, you will have the right journey towards life. And the secret is very simple. Just use that guide. Application is the key. Application. Use it. Don't just absorb it. No, wag lang pakinggan, wag lang alamin, kundi i-apply, gamitin. Okay? And the bad culture of Filipinos will surely be replaced with God's culture in you. If you, no, palitan natin yung kultura natin na very bad na. Palitan natin ng God's culture. Kung ikaw, ako, yes, tayong lahat ay maninindigan to stand for God, to stand for righteousness. And the blessings it gives for following sincerely and humbly without any conditions, darating na lang yan, kusa. Let's start inside our homes. Let's start inside our families consistently on a daily basis. Araw-araw, minu-minuto. For the sake of His kingdom here on earth na matagal na niyang inaasam-asam. At ang kapalit niyan ay tunay na kasaganaan sa ating bansa ayon sa kanyang pangako na matagal na niyang pinatunayan since the history of mankind. So, do you really want the Lord to heal our land? It starts inside our homes, inside our respective families. So guys, again, this is Papa Angelo, your God and Man's Laws Life Counselor. Sana may natutunan kayo, ha? Today. Promise? Marami? Usap tayo ulit next Sunday. Thank you so much for watching and listening. See you again. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.